Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I shall be mod reviewing JoJo Hamon Era by Noii. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with the armor. There's Strazo's armor, Bruteford's armor, Tarkus's armor, Dio's armor. There's a lot of Dio's armor, including Injured Dio and this Dio. There's Jack the Ripper, Kempo Master, Tattoos, Jonathan's Clothes, which is also here and here and here. We also have Dyer's shirt, Ton Petty's shirt, and Speedwagon's shirt, and Zeppelini's shirt. And we've also got the two stone masks. The stone mask, which isn't bloodied, and the bloody stone mask. And that's how you get vampirism. But let's move on to the next section. Okay, next let's move on to the music discs. This mod adds a lot of new music discs inspired from the anime. So there's Roundabout, and there's a bunch of them, like the Stone Mask soundtrack, and the Chain Power soundtrack. I believe I'm not allowed to play these in the video because of copyright. So I'll just show you what they all are. The Joestar family disc, that's a good disc. And you can get all of these discs from a structure, from many different structures, I believe. And I'll try to find one of those structures. It's a crashed wagon, that's what it looks like. But now that all of that's done, let's move to the next section. Okay, the next section will be the items. There's a lot of items and a lot of weapons, such as Tarkus's greatsword, which does extra damage to Hamon users, Speedwagon's sledgehammer, Pluck, which does extra damage to vampires, Luck, the Iron Knife with blood, and, well, the Iron Knife with vampire blood, the regular Iron Knife, the Bloody Stone Mask, and the Stone Mask. There's two ways to get vampirism. You can use a knife with of blood and have this in your head slot, like this, and then you can right click. Or you can just use a knife with vampire blood. And we've also got Jack the Ripper's knife, a boxing glove, a blue boxing glove, some wine, and a vial of blood, which makes you poisoned if you're not a vampire. Well, let's move on. So, now let's go on to the characters. There are a lot, and some of them, like Dio, need shadow, so I'll just go into this house. And this is where you can find Jonathan Joestar, Zeppelini, and Speedwagon. But this is Jonathan Joestar. He'll ask you to learn Hamon first. Dio Brando. There's Shadow Dio. There's also Healed Dio. Injured Dio. Zeppelini, who will ask you to give him a stone mask, then he'll teach you Hamon. Speedwagon, who lets you destroy a mask or learn his fighting style. There's also Ton Petty, who will also teach you Hamon. And there's Dyer, who will teach you his type of Hamon. And there's a couple more. So there's Straightso, who will not do anything. Bruteford, who is a vampire. Tarkus, Jack the Ripper, Kempo Master, and Tattoo. So, let's move to the next section. Now, the next section is quite a strange one, as it is mainly the structures, since in this mod, they actually use spawn eggs to summon a structure. So this chamber entity, I can spawn it there, and it'll summon a chamber, which I can just break into, and there'll be some chests with loot in it, and then you'll find Tarkus. Next we have the mansion spawner, which is that building, and here it is. It's fully decorated, as you can see, and in this room over here there is a book about the stone mask. We also have the Tibet Temple and the Wind Knight lot spawner. So this is a Tibet Temple. So it looks like the bit under the stairs isn't decorated, but that's fine. And this is quite a big building. And this holds a couple more NPCs, such as the different Hamon users, since there's a bunch of different textured Hamon users who you can use as either a fight or you can just leave them there. And it also spawns in Ton Petty, who can also be found in this structure, the Wind Knight's lot spawner, which is very big, and it holds Straightso, Dyer, Ton Petty, and I believe that's it. Oh, it also holds Jack the Ripper, so there's him if you want to see him. And it's got a lot of structures. But we're done with the structures, so let's move on to the best bit now. And the best bit is, of course, the powers, which you actually get at the start when you type in, when you join a world, it shall instantly run this command, popping this up, which you can select which one to be, Hamon user or vampire, or neither. So I'm going to showcase the Hamon user first. And you press X to change your ability, and then Z to activate it, as you can see. And Wine Cutter, I believe, uses the wine, and it also uses Hamon, which if you're using cheats, you can turn on Hamon full to activate it again. and it will do that. It will make the wine into a blade, I guess. You can also do all Hamon to get every single Hamon ability. So, now let's see what they all are. We've got Ground Ripple, Rose Toss, which you need a rose for, or as they're called in the latest game, in the latest version, poppies. So, there's Overdrive Barrage. There's Scarlet Overdrive, Hamon Dash. Let's go to the Scarlet Overdrive, since it does have cooldowns. And when you activate that and hit someone, it will make them burn. Next, the Hamon Dash, which is, yeah, a dash. There's After Images. Very cool. Sendo Overdrive. Sunlight Overdrive, which I can showcase in a second. So there might be a ability to turn off all of the cooldowns, but I don't think there is. So after Sunlight Overdrive, there's just Thunder Split left, and that is, of course, the other ability I have. Okay, well, I'm going to cut until it gets ready again. So, okay, now Sunlight Overdrive is ready. So let's get this creeper. And it'll give this ability. Very cool. Which I believe makes you faster. And lastly, we have Thunder Split. So that also has a really long cooldown. So let's get cutting. What? Okay, now the cooldown's over. So let's use it. So you press Z. And that made me fly up in the sky and smash down on him. So now we're done with that. The only way to get rid of it is using cheats and changing this. So I shall be a vampire now. And that uses these blood vials to get more blood. And as you can see, vampires don't do very well in the sun. So, okay, I set it to night, so if I want to go to survival, I can. And let's see the abilities. So there's also a all vampire for this. And the first ability is a zombie minion, which will give you the Best Friends Forever achievement, and a zombie minion. We have the invisibility, which just gives you the invisibility effect for, I believe, 20 seconds. And you can also do blood fall to get all of your blood back. So there's a couple more, a lot more, including claw barrage. as you can see, I drank that and I got some points back. I can also get a chimera, which is just a random animal. There's a freeze, so I activate it, then hit someone. Next we have a shadow teleport, which is just teleporting. We have the which is Theo's signature move. We also have Vampire Steed, which sums in a vampire horse. So I believe it's just a zombie horse it uses, but I might be wrong. So it sort of uses a zombie horse, but with a tiny bit different textures. We've got Space Ripper, the Flesh Bud, which I don't actually think works in single player. There's Resilience, Undead Army, and that's it. So for Undead Army, we actually need some rotten flesh, and it will summon a lot more of those minions wherever it is. Okay, so let's use this ability, which, as I said, I don't think it works in single player, but I might be wrong. Also, that was a really lucky drop. All 3 drops from the skeleton. Okay, next we have Resilience, which gives a bunch of OP abilities and effects. Very cool. And lastly, we have Undead Army. Okay, finally, Undead Army, which, as you can see, used 10 of my rotten flesh, and it summoned 10 zombies. So that's very handy. Lastly, we have the human abilities, which you can get 2 ways. One, you can get Speedwagon's hat and use it, or you can get the boxing glove. So first we have Goons, which will summon a couple of people who will help you fight. We've got Left Hook, and we also need Speedwagon's hammer for this, and his hat. But Left Hook is just a punch. Bladed Hat uses Speedwagon's hat to throw. Barrage is that. The Sledgehammer Slam, which will smash the sledgehammer into the ground. We've got Human Spirit, and that's the last one. Lastly, we have Human Spirit, which also gives you a couple of abilities, well, effects, which makes it so that you can practically one-shot anything whilst using the sledgehammer, since it gives you strength 3. Well, that's it for today, as that's everything this mod has to offer. So, bye!